Welcome back. Today we're talking to Sir Richard Branson, the self-made British millionaire and entrepreneur who is in our studio in Doha. Let's get back to the discussion. And I want to start off now, Sir Richard, with your venture into stem cell research. You are in Qatar. The Virgin Health Bank is going to relocate to the Emirates. How did you become interested in stem cell research, and how is that going to work for you?
Well, it's with my charitable foundation hat on that I've got involved. I was approached by a lady who worked for the NHS in England who said that there were only 6,000 cord blood collections made in the country, and therefore if a child to a Jamaican in England or a child to an Arab person in England had leukemia or sickle cell anemia or some of the other diseases that children can get, there wouldn't be any stem cells to try to cure them, and so we decided to set up a foundation and set up a bank to try to collect as many stem cells as possible. And the government of Qatar have said that they want to set up a bank in this region, so that every single woman who gives birth, instead of throwing away her cord blood, we'll collect it and start building up a large bank of cord blood cells in this region, and hopefully not just Qatar but many other Arab nations, so that if children of any ethnic background get ill in this region, we've got the cord blood to try to cure them.
Now, as you know, there is some controversy over this type of research, and I want to go to an email which we received from a viewer in Norfolk in the United Kingdom. This is Paula Varley writing to us, and she wants to know, does Richard Branson share any of the ethical concerns that have been raised about using stem cell technology? How will discoveries made at his labs be utilized?
Well, I think it's important to realize what this is. When a woman gives birth, the cord that is attached from the baby to the mother is full of incredible blood. I mean, blood that is literally a lifesaver. That cord is thrown in the dustbin. So all we're doing is taking that cord and we're storing that cord, partly for the mother's baby, but also as a bank, which half of it for the mother's baby and half of it for a bank that any children can tap into, and it's going to save hopefully many lives. There's something like 85 potential diseases that can be cured from it, and I can't see how anybody could have any controversy over that. The stem cells that President Obama has legalized, and the stem cell research in America, I also personally support him 100% on that. That is a different kind of stem cell research, but if we can come up with answers to, and I've just suddenly forgotten what I was about to say. But what is it when you have forgetfulness? Help me. Old age, forgetfulness. All right. Anyway, if you can come, Alzheimer's. That's what we're looking for. Anyway, if you can come up with stem cells for Alzheimer's, and it could be very useful for the two of us, and other things like that.
Okay, I think on that we'd better change the subject. Let's talk about climate change for a moment here. You're involved in a number of projects promoting green technologies. You've set up Virgin Fuels. What will the company be doing?
Well, global warming is one of the world's greatest threats, or mankind's greatest threats. The world will survive global warming, and so we desperately need to come up with clean alternative fuels, and so the profits that the Virgin Group make from our various airlines around the world are being put into trying to come up with alternative fuels, whether it's algae for aeroplanes, or whether it's sugar-based ethanol for cars, or whether it's wind power or wave power, or whether it's trying to come up with a way of turning waste product into carbon and burying it in the ground so that we actually extract carbon out of the Earth's atmosphere and put it back into the soil as fertilizer. All these kinds of ideas we're looking at.
Well, you mentioned getting rid of waste products there. In February of 2007, you announced a new Global Science and Technology Prize, the Virgin Earth Challenge. And that prize would go to an individual or a group who were able to develop a technology to remove greenhouse gases from the atmosphere. How is that initiative going?
Well, we haven't had any winner yet, but we've had quite a lot of submissions, and hopefully one day we'll have an outright winner. But at least it's got people all over the world, scientists, engineers, thinking about whether there is a way of extracting carbon out of the Earth's atmosphere. The best idea that I've come across, but it wasn't somebody who sort of submitted a prize to us. Is the idea of turning the waste product in the fields, the waste product in offices, factories, into carbon and burying it. And what we need to develop are machines to make that economically viable. And an awful lot of the carbon out of the Earth's atmosphere could actually be put to good use by being put back into the soil.
But you keep in touch with the people working on this project and you monitor their progress.
Yes, I mean we've got Cambridge University who are taking all the submissions and examining them and letting us know whether there's whether there's a winner. But so far we haven't actually had a winner yet.
Now, moving to the political arena, also in 2007, you, as well as the British musician Peter Gabriel, announced the formation of a group known as the Elders. This is a group of people who would use their collective experience to try and solve long-standing conflicts. And among the members of that group is Desmond Tutu, the South African cleric. You also have Mary Robinson, the former Irish Prime Minister, Mohammed Yunus, who did a lot of work in microfinancing in Bangladesh, as well as Jimmy Carter, the former US president. What has the group been doing and how successful has it been?
Yes, I mean there's also Nelson Mandela, who actually formed the Elders, Kofi Annan, and so it's a group of 12 people who wonderful people who've got high moral authority in the world, very well respected throughout the world. And they're basically using their collective wisdom to look at conflicts in the world and see whether between them all they can resolve the conflicts. So, give you one example. Last year there was a horrible conflict that took place in Kenya, where the opposition party felt that the ruling party had fixed the election, and Kenya looked like it was disintegrating into civil war, and Archbishop Tutu, Kofi Annan, and Gresham Michelle, went to Kenya. They took the opposition leader and the Prime Minister away for a couple of weeks to a game reserve, and a coalition government was formed, and Kenya has been peaceful since. And then behind the scenes, they've been working on Zimbabwe and Cyprus and quite a lot of other conflicts in the world. So basically, they will look at conflicts that maybe the United Nations hasn't been able to sort out, or member states haven't been able to sort out, and see if the fact that they've got a lot of respect by leaders in the world, whether they can actually intervene and resolve them.
So, Richard, we just have about a minute left, and I have one final question for you, and this is about you personally. You're known as something of a daredevil. You've crossed the Atlantic in a boat. You succeeded on the second try. You've tried it by a balloon as well, and you have several records to your name. Is there anything else in the pipeline that we can look forward to?
Well, I think that obviously the big challenge is going to be the space challenge, and we're really looking forward to that. We attempted last year to see if we could break the transatlantic sailing record with my children Holly and Sam, and we hit a very bad storm and we failed. That's still to be done, and so I'm sure we'll have another go at that as well.
Thank you, sir. Sir Richard Branson talking to us from Doha. Thanks for being with us.
Good to talk to you. Thank you.
On the next show, the civil war in Somalia and the American connection. More than a dozen Somali Americans are believed to have been recruited to fight on behalf of the Islamic Courts Group in Somalia. U.S. officials are conducting investigations in several American cities. We'll see you next time. Join us then.